Okay, so this is the video for art. Here I've got on the watercolor paper. I've got a sketch. I've got a rough sketch of what I'm gonna do, and I've also got the order in which I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna start with the sky, then the lake reflections, then the mountains, and then move closer and yeah. Finish with the sauropod and the bushes. So here's the two pages I'm gonna use, and I want the sky to be like a sunset color, so I'll be using yellows and oranges. So I'll start with the yellow, and looking at my guide, I'm gonna put the sky around the middle-ish. Now I'll grab some of that orange. Now I've done my sky, now I'm gonna do the same for the water. I guess that looks about good enough. So what I'm gonna do now is clean the brush and figure out what I'm gonna do now. I want a bit of a mountain here. So what I'm gonna do is take some dark colors and try to create a mountain color. And since this is a sunset, colors will probably be quite dark, be almost a little more than a silhouette, almost nothing more than a silhouette. I like the color. This works much better when Bob Ross does it. This is because he has a canvas, a real canvas, and very different brushes and very different paint. Now I've got some idea of what I want, so I'm gonna add a bit of an island here. And now I'm working on the rest of the land. Okay, so what I've got now is I've prepared a bit of green. This is not gonna be too important, it's because it's mostly gonna be tinted red with a sunset, but I'll try to use a little bit of a green to make the plants look like plants. What I'll probably do is use some of a red and black and brown to try to create the color of, well, of what the plants look like when they're all in the sunset. I don't like this color. Also do some background leaves of trees high up. Now I'll just blend that, because this is all in the background. So what I'll do now is use some of this yellow, just for yellow, to try and create some highlights on the plants here. I'll put some highlights on here to make it look like there's a ridge or a bulge on that rock. Now we'll use just a tiny bit of that green. Try make it look like the plants aren't dead. So now I've added some of the more orangey yellow to make the grass, the green look a bit more natural. Yeah, I like that. So now I'm using some of this new green here to create some bushes much closer, much more in the foreground. So I really like those because they're quite dark, which means I can put a lot of highlights on them, but you can still see that they're green. So now I'll be mixing a lot of yellow into the green to make these perfect highlights, or at least good highlights, because it's probably not going to be perfect. Yeah, that looks good. There we go. So now there's highlights on the plants. I'll just add a bit more yellow. Now these look not only like highlights, but also a bit like flowers. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to make some trees. For that I'll use same color again as before, just this yellow black, so it looks pretty brown. Make a tree come like this, one over here, and a small one there. There we go. So what I'm doing here is pushing the brush against the way the bristles want to go. This will make them fan out and create a pattern of leaves. So now what I'm doing is adding highlights to the tree. Bloody hell. So now I'm just adding slight highlights to these trees so that they look like they're being illuminated from directly behind. Okay, so what I'm doing now is, because I forgot to add some land here, is, well, what I just said, adding the land, but I just forgot. So I'll be using this brush again. Try and create a good color. Oops. I'll just be adding a layer of that. And what I'll do now is pull down to create the illusion of reflections in the lake. Get the trees, so I'll add a reflection of them too. Reflection here, and I think that looks good. Maybe we'll just take a bit of the green. There we go. Adding the reflections of the plants as well. Now, since this is a bit blurry, I'll be using a white brush to mark the water's edge. So yeah, I'm pretty happy with with that now. Now all that remains, pretty much, is the dinosaur. Okay, so I've washed my brush, my hands, and got clean water. Now because of this, it's gonna be a little tricky to try and get it. So I'll just do my best. Now I'm not too concerned with the color of the Titanosaur because it's against a pretty light background, so it's probably going to be very dark, almost nothing but a silhouette, but I'm still going to add a few colors. So yeah, as dull as this might look, I'm pretty happy with this color because it's, like I said, it's a silhouette, so you won't really be seeing that much of it. Actually, I think I might just use the same brush. So according to these, the body would be on this page and the head will be on the left one. So maybe it's best I start with the head, that way I get a good idea of where I should draw the body. So I actually imagined this to be a bit bigger, but I think this size is quite appropriate. Okay, so sauropods had rather small heads, so it'll be a bit difficult to try and get that. because it'll be a little more than just a few bulges. Maybe here where the eye is, there's a bulge. So this looks somewhat good. Gonna extend the neck, make it big and meaty. Big meaty neck. And just slightly reflect that with water. Let's quickly use my other brush to try and blend that a bit, so it looks like a reflection. So I'll also add some reflections down here and gently go across to try and blend it into the water. Whoops. Now, like before with the land, I'll use a small brush with some white and try to create a bit of foam around the body so you can see where it is, and maybe to give the illusion that it is swimming through the water. Lots of foam with its powerful movements. Maybe this was a bit much. Yeah, I like this. This looks pretty good. And now I'm going to give him a little child. There comes the neck. That's his little juvenile son. Now once again, I'll come in with white. So now I'll come back in with white. Just gently dibble that so it looks like he's swimming. And water's crashing around his little body. Rough as it looks, I'm pretty happy with that. It's basically what I want. Just to finish this little painting, going to add something in the sky. So just here. There's a pterosaur. Okay, so one slight thing I forgot to add was some highlights on the dinosaurs themselves. So let me just come in with the white. You see, it's already basically blending into the body color.